Good evening. Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to the Mamapreneur Podcast. I am your hostess with the mostest, Robbin Kelton. Thank you guys for joining us for episode number 23. I like to coin the term the doctor's episode since today we are in the presence of two doctors this evening. Um, let's shout out to Black women as doctors, getting these degrees, doing things in life. So I get to showcase one in just a moment. Her name is Dr. Candace, and Dr. Candace is going to let you know about her business and what she does. She's a woman of many talents. I'll just say that. So thank you, Dr. Candace, for joining me today. So glad to have you.
Good to be here.
So before we bring Dr. Candace on and in all her glory, if you've watched this episode before, I always give you guys some things to do before I get started. Before we get into our spill. So you're going to share the live broadcast. So if you're on Facebook, this is the time to go ahead and share today's live broadcast or even the replay. Once you've shared it, you're going to type hashtag Mamapreneur in the comments. We're always doing some type of giveaways, and you must share in order to get in on some of these giveaways, okay? So share the live, hashtag Mamapreneur in the comments for the broadcast, okay? Also, if you're watching the replay, type hashtag replay in the comments, just knowing that say hey, that you're watching. And if this is your first time watching, thank you. Welcome. A little bit about me. My name is Robbin. I am based out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I am in corporate America by day, but I'm an entrepreneur all outside of that. I'm a hairstylist and have been for the past 24 years. 24 years today, actually. It's crazy. I'm good at keeping up with dates. If you follow me enough, Candace, you'll get the gist. You'll be like, Robbin keeps up with everything. We don't forget. But yeah, I found out officially that I had passed my cosmetology exam today. Man, 24 years anyway. Time just flies. So also, I am a independent consultant with Mary Kay Cosmetics and have been for 14 years. I am also a distributor with Total Life Changes and have been for almost 2 years. And I am also a independent consultant with Paparazzi Jewelry and Accessories. As you can see, the jewels. So we are also, just like Dr. Candace, woman of many talents. So, and so this podcast exists because of someone gave me a chance, which is our fearless leader. I like to give her shouts out every chance I get, Miss Kesha Cash. She gave me a chance, and so I decided to be able to showcase other female-based businesses throughout the country. So you do not have to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to be on the show. So if you are an entrepreneur, female entrepreneur out there, and you would like more exposure for your business, please reach out to myself or Kesha Kesh or the Power Team, and I would love to have you on. Just like we got the ladies on tonight, you could be on next time. You just never know. Nothing happens unless you open your mouth and say something. Just saying. So, also, as I put you all to work in the audience, this is an interactive podcast. What does that mean, folks? You might ask. That means you must interact with us. Me and Dr. Candace, we're going to be saying some great stuff. And our other guests, we're going to be saying some great stuff too. But guess what? We want to hear from you in the audience. So what that means, if you have a question or if you have just a comment, if you agreeing with something Dr. Candace is saying, chime in the comments. Chime in. We would love to hear from you, especially if you have any questions, okay? Also, I am all about networking. So if you are an entrepreneur in the audience, please make sure that you type in your business link to your website, your Facebook page, your Instagram, your TikTok, your Twitter, whatever website you have, whatever social media you have. Please make sure you type in your business name in the comments. You never know. Your business may be a blessing to someone, but you just never know. So All right. So, if you've seen the show before, you know that I am all about affirmations. I am a firm believer if you speak positive things will happen. So, if you're into that kind of thing, get a pen, some paper, get ready to write down some gems. Okay? So, I just got a few today. I ain't go crazy like last show. Last show, I think I had like 10, just filling up all your little pages. Okay? So, so today I'm just going to do a few. All right? Okay. So my first one is I am a magnet for change, increase, opportunity, and growth. I'm going to say that again because that was a lot. I am a magnet for change, increase, opportunity, and growth. Because who wants to grow? We all do. Dr. Candace want to grow. You can see it in her face. See?
Write it down.
All right. Next, I am worthy and deserving of having the best that life has to offer. I am worthy and deserving of having the best that life has to offer. Sorry, read that all wrong. All right. Few more. My financial future is secure. Money comes to me with ease and in miraculous ways. Saying that a little louder for the people in the back. My financial future is secure. Money comes to me with ease and in miraculous ways. Okay. My gifts are making room for me, and I will not live in the spirit of fear. My gifts are making room for me, and I will not live in the spirit of fear. Okay. All right. I am unapologetically moving towards living a better life, growing business with unlimited blessings. That's a mouthful. I am unapologetically moving towards living a better life, growing business with unlimited blessings. And last but not least, God is with me. Therefore, my businesses will be successful and prosperous. God is with me. Therefore, my businesses will be successful and prosperous. All right. Hope that blesses you like it blessed me. All right. Hashtag affirmations. All right. So before I bring Dr. Candace on, I just got a quick discussion topic. I just want to chime in and a conversation with another entrepreneur sparked this it sparked this topic for me. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna talk about it. Just a smidge. Just a smidge. And it is, are you shortchanging yourself as an entrepreneur? Us as entrepreneurs, sometimes we do shortchange ourselves, especially once we're first starting out. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we don't charge what we are worth. I think sometimes we're afraid to charge what we're worth because somebody may actually pay it. Just saying. Or you may be scared that people may not want to pay the prices that you're charging for whatever your services are. My opinion is them not your people. In lack of a better term, those folks are not your people. So just a few little tidbits on pretty much charging what you're worth. Okay. Are you doing the research of your products and services? Are they worth actually what you are charging? Are there some things that you can kind of tweak to kind of, bump up your quality a little bit with your work? Have you researched the market to kind of do a comparison of pricing for whatever your line of work is? And my all-time favorite, I had to learn this much later. Be picky about your target audience and clientele. Amen. Be picky. Because everybody is not your target audience. Junebug them trying to get a discount is not your target audience. Okay. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Dr. Candace's face is hilarious. Ray them, excuse me, for lack of better terms, Ray them, Pookie them is not your target audience, especially if we're wanting hookups. And lastly, if you don't know what that is, get help. Get a business coach. I said this year for me was going to be a year of personal and professional development. So even if you need that, find it somewhere. There's classes galore, even if it's in person or virtual. There's so many people that are teaching classes on business and personal development and professional development and ways you can scale your business, so on and so forth. So if there's a will, there's a way. So you just got to get out there and do it. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's my little soapbox discussion topic about charging what you're worth. It's okay to charge what you're worth. Somebody will buy it or buy into you. So, but anyway, we're going to move on to the fabulous Dr. Candace. So Dr. Candace, so let me talk about Dr. Candace real quick. So one of the cool things about social media is that you can meet anybody. Dr. Candace is not even locally. She's not even in DFW area. And I met her through one of the Facebook groups with Dr. Darius Daniels. He's doing a boot camp right now. I mean, he is just amazeballs. But anyway, met her in one of the groups, just me promoting the podcast, and she reached out. And so one of the reasons why I started this podcast is because I wanted to network with other ladies, wanted to shine a light on them and their businesses. And this was a great platform. This particular group was a great platform to show that, and got Dr. Candace and a few others that are coming on the show throughout the year just from me just posting that. So I am very appreciative of her for coming on today. And Dr. Candace is going to introduce herself and talk about herself and her blog, The Doc Knows. She is amazing, and she's an author. She does it all. So ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Candace.
Thank you so much, Robbin, for having me. As she said, we both met in a social media group where we were just trying to, get more and learn more as it pertains to being our best selves, really. And so I just thank her for inviting me and for having me here. I am a chiropractor by profession, and I started The Doc Knows because what I saw a lot of in practice and just even personally were women that wanted to be healthy. Everybody assumes that if a person's not healthy, that they don't want to be healthy. And that's just not the case. Sometimes it has to do with not knowing, or but you don't know how to incorporate it into your daily life. And so in 2019, I started the blog, The Doc Knows, and it is a place for women who want to have a better and healthier lifestyle, but they need some tools, they need some motivation. I recommend different products to you. So the website really embodies the message of self-care. As I always say, A doctor's visit is just a report on how well you've been practicing self-care. And so the doc knows is going to give you information on how you can incorporate those small, healthy steps in your routine, because we know when the year starts out, we're going to drink more water, we're going to go to the gym, we're just going to do all of these things. And then before you know it, we kind of get overwhelmed. And so the doc knows is going to bring information to women who want to get healthy, and they need to have those small steps that they can incorporate, realistic steps that they can incorporate throughout their day. And so that's kind of how the Doc Knows was born. I have a love for writing, and it was just a way for me to connect with even more women past the ones that, I'm able to reach here locally. And from there, my book, Woman Take Off Your Cape, Stop Saving the Day and Start Saving Your Health. That book was born from the same concept to help women who really don't realize that a lot of the things that they're doing, a lot of the good that they're doing is actually robbing them of good health. So that book is just an eye-opener for women. It serves as kind of a mirror of self-awareness, that some of the good things that you're doing is really costing you your health. And so that book is going to open your eyes, help you to see yourself. And then I give you some information and some realistic things that you can incorporate in your day-to-day life, no matter what walk of life you're from. So that's a bit about me and what I've, done to empower women to health. That's my mission.
I just love the name of the book. Woman, Take Off Your Cape. So many times we think we are superwoman. We think we can do it all. We can work 12-hour shifts. We can take care of the kid. We can do this. We can do that. And then your body has a way of telling you to sit your tail down. And so I just love the name in itself. Then, y'all, she has one of the cape. I call it a blazer cape, if you will, with the sleeves. Right. I'm surprised you don't have on one tonight.
I almost did. Almost.
I was gonna put you in that yellow one you had on. That was so cute. But just the name, and just I love the blog. I was able to go in and kind of look at a few things, and I was like, okay. So her stuff is really realistic. You see books, you see even blog posts, whatever, on health and wellness, and some stuff, it'd be real far-fetched. You'd be like, okay, you setting me up for failure. Come on, right. Come on, son. Why you got me drinking 20 glasses of water? Good and well, we can barely get to that 8, let alone, and I'm being sarcastic here, but seriously, some books, right. Some stuff, it's like really far-fetched. So, or they want you to get these expensive, it's like your grocery list, your shopping list is really expensive. You're like, okay, we breaking the bank. We spending $100 on food, and this ain't even everything, Right. So I'm gonna tell you, so a couple of your posts that kind of stood out, you was talking about healthy foods that make you gain weight. Seriously? And you know what? The kicker, they're promoting a lot of these foods like, yes, get this, get right. That. You'll lose weight. And you're on the back end, you're like, no, you're not. So kind of shed some light on that. So like some healthy foods that are making you gain weight.
Right. And one of the reasons I wanted to do that post is, like you said, those items are generally marketed as health food items. Or you think about them as, okay, this is healthy. A granola bar, that's healthy, right? Mm-hmm. But you have to look at what's in it. A lot of the processed foods, the keyword is processed. If it came in a box or in a bag, it can have a lot of things in there that you aren't aware that's in there. Even if you're reading the list of ingredients, you may not be privy to, like, oh, this ingredient here is gonna actually cause inflammation. You may not, be aware of that. So I know granola. I see a lot of people doing a lot of protein bars and just different bars. Even some of the different waters that you think are healthy waters for you to drink. Like, oh, well, it's water, but you have to read the nutritional label is what I really wanted to bring home. And that people get discouraged because they have all of these healthy things and dried fruit. That's, healthy. It's fruit, but you have to read the ingredients, because a lot of them have added sugar. And then with dried fruits, you can eat a lot of that because it has no water content. So you can overeat dried fruit and not even know it. And a lot of people aren't aware of, well, I just had a bag. Well, that one bag actually had 3 serving sizes. So no, you actually had, you want to do times 3 on the calories on that bag. So that's what that post was about, to raise awareness that, like I said, it's not that people don't want to be healthy, but sometimes they don't know how to get there, and they have what they think, the equipment that they need, but it's actually doing a reverse.
Yeah. You know what? Another one, I was shocked, but I found out later, and I was drinking these and I'm like, man, I don't see much of a difference. They say this is healthy. Smoothies. If you really look at, like you just said, the nutritional facts, smoothies, especially if you're getting the frozen fruit, all this stuff, they're not talking about the sugar, how much sugar, grams of sugar is in each bag, or however much you're using to make the smoothie.
Right.
I didn't know that until after the fact, until someone I know that's a personal trainer brought that to my attention. Was like, yeah, the smoothies are good, but
and see, look, you were doing a good thing. You were doing a good thing for yourself, right? Yeah. So you thought, and so that's where the health awareness comes in. I just saw somebody talking about Smoothie King. I don't know if you were making your smoothies, but they're exactly right. That's why I try to encourage people to, try to make as much of your own stuff as you can. I know that we're pressed for time a lot of times, but it's best that you make, your own things, so you know what's in them. But you're exactly right. A lot of the fruit can pack on sugar that you're not aware of. And that's why I like to use a lot of different, berries. They're lower in sugar versus, pineapple, which a lot of us like pineapple.
Bananas, all that. And I'm like, see, right, good. They're like, no, Robbin, that is high in sugar, ma'am. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll stop. So, you had another one you was talking about. What was it? Vitamin D?
Yes.
Vitamin D, I always hear, is always really low in African Americans.
Right.
I don't know where that stems from, but I hear that a lot or see that a lot. So talk about your post with that.
Okay, vitamin D is very important for a lot of different functions in the body, and our bodies make vitamin D from the sun. Somebody just put that there.
So sun, right? Yes, ma'am.
So once the sun's UV rays hit our skin, our body makes vitamin D. So the thing that you pointed out, as far as with African Americans, about 75% of African Americans are low in vitamin D. And that has to do with a couple of things. In general, all of us, we're spending less time outside, just in general, regardless of race. A lot of us are working from home. So even when we were probably walk outside during lunch or what have you, we're not doing that. But particularly for African Americans, we have melanin in our skin. And so we actually need to stay outside longer to get the same effect as someone who has fairer or lighter skin. And so when you combine those two, if you aren't going outside much anyway, and then when you go out, I'm just going to go out here for a quick little 5 minutes. No, that's not going to, cut it for us, because we have melanin and it actually serves as a protector, but there's kind of a double-edged sword. It doesn't allow the sun's rays to penetrate us as well, and for us to produce vitamin D as well. And vitamin D has been shown to, one of the cool things I found, we're a lot more aware of mental health now, that vitamin D, having the appropriate vitamin D levels can actually take care of a lot of depression. It's been shown that low vitamin D levels are linked to depression.
Interesting. Learn something new every day. Learn something new every day. You touched on something a minute ago, and that was going to be my next point. Okay, so you talked about, you have a blog about water, okay? And so you just touched on like the different kinds of water. So I saw a Facebook post a while back forgot who posted that. And it was talking about the different types of water. So, I got my Ozarka here, and it talks about the different types of alkaline water and all these different types of water. So what would you recommend? What kind of water would you, doctor? The doc knows. Would you recommend is like the quote unquote best, safest, healthiest water to drink? Because like you said, there's so many different kinds.
Right. You want to steer clear of waters that are like, with the crystal lights and the added stuff. My goal is to get people to drinking just plain water. So as far as like with the brands and adding minerals, some waters have minerals added to them. I just want you to learn to drink plain water. Because many of us don't drink it. I actually, I'll never forget this. I had a patient and I asked her about her water intake. And she's like, oh, yeah, I drink water. And I was like, okay, we're trying to figure out how much. She said, I drink it every night when I take my pill.
Girl, no, she didn't. That ain't all.
So my goal, and like I said, the doc knows this about that realistic approach to health. I just want you to start drinking water. And so I talk about all the different things. Like you have a bottle there. I don't do well with drinking water from a bottle. You got to get to know you.
I almost pulled my jug out. I got the jug that got the time frame on it.
I don't do well with that either. Like
that's why it's in the cabinet.
and so those are the things that can contribute to you not, doing something that's so important like drinking water. So for me, I like to have a container that's about like a 16 ounce because I feel good that, I drink that one. Let me go fill it up. Like I feel good about filling it up, but that big container, but for some reason, I just don't like water from a bottle for whatever reason. I don't know, but you have to be, real with yourself about that because those could be the things that are obstacles to you drinking because you don't have time to think about this during the day. So if you have a thing about plastic bottles or what have you, you may not even realize that that's why you're not grabbing those, that case of water that you bought from Target and Walmart. Why is it still, full? Why does it still have all the water in it? And so for me, some people like their water to be cold. You need to get an insulated container. So yeah, see, for me, I don't like that. I just get me a regular plastic.
So you miss room temperature.
Yes.
Water. Okay.
So all those things are contributing factors. Because if you're sitting there with an insulated thing and waiting for that water to warm up, the half the day is gone and you still have not drank any water. And like for me, I noticed, with the bottles with the straws, like I don't do well with that. I need to just gulp mine down. But some people like to sip their water. So all of those things that seem to be, it really doesn't matter. It does, it does matter. And it can be discouraging without you realizing it subconsciously.
I believe that. Me, I actually have an accountability partner because I grew up on soda. We are Miss Sweet Tea all day. Now, I still have to have a little sweet tea. We just don't guzzle it down all day, every day like we used to, or soda. So I have an actual accountability partner who stays on me. Now, we're at a time now, there's an app for every freaking thing. So now you even got an app tell you drink your water if you need that kind of help. I have a friend that keeps me accountable, and I'm the same with her as far as water. And she'll, we'll kind of text each other back and forth. Okay, now how many ounces have you had? Try to keep. I only keep up with it through my Fitness Pal. That's the only reason why we know how many ounces. Otherwise, I'd be like, girl, I went through 2 bottles, 3 bottles.
Yeah. And that was amazing that you took the time out to discover that that's what you need. And that's what like the book touches on. Woman, Take Off Your Cape touches on that. You're so busy flying around, zooming around, saving everyone, from what's going on with them that you don't have the time to even reflect like, hey, I need to unlearn that I don't guzzle down soda and tea all day. Yeah. And hey, I need someone to hold me accountable. Like that actually took time and some self-awareness for you to do that for your health, to make that step. And so that's what the book
actually had to tell me though. Yeah, a doctor had to tell me to slow down on that. So yeah. So I was like, okay, well, I do better if somebody keep me accountable, because we gonna probably just one or two be drunk versus, four
Right.
or
Mhm.
three. Someone had asked earlier about when we were talking about vitamin D and going outside and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, I think it was there a time that you should go outside to make your levels lower, or something like, oh, what's a good time to be outside so your levels don't be low?
Okay, well, you have to go out there. And it's contrary to belief, Black people do get sunburned. So,
Yes, we do.
so I mean, you want to go out there when the sun is out, but you have to think about, damage to your skin as well. So you want to make sure that you are wearing sunscreen. A lot of Black people don't wear sunscreen. People used to pick at me for wearing them. Like, I actually will burn. So you want to go out there. You can go. I wouldn't recommend to go out there at high noon, and it depends on where you live. Like, in Florida, it's hot, at 8 o'clock, the sun, is shining bright then. So that's when I like to go out and take walks and get the sun in then, versus at high noon where I'm more likely to be burned. So it all depends on where you live. You definitely don't want to go out in the evening when the sun is going down. You're not going to get much of the sun's rays that way. Like I say, the caveat to that is you want to make sure you have on sunscreen, because Black people do get sunburn and damage. Even if you don't see the burns, it still could be very damaging to your skin.
Yeah, so true, so true. And don't be in Dallas, because that's a whole nother. It's been pretty chill right now. Say by
But you
June,
just wait,
July,
right? Yeah, you just wait. It'll be over, right?
different ball game. Yep. So thank you so much, Dr. Jenn. Not Dr. Jenn, Dr. Candace. Forgive me. Okay. So Dr. Candace has a gift for everyone. So if you go to her website, thedocknows.com, she has a free budget friendly grocery list to help you jumpstart on your health and wellness journeys. So a little treat for you guys. So head over to her website. How can people purchase the book, Woman Take Off Your Cape?
Woman Take Off Your Cape is still available on Amazon. And on the website, if you go to the Doc Knows under books, it's located there as well with some journals. Food and feeling journal that you can write down how you feel and what you're eating and say, hey, this person was getting on my nerves and I noticed that's what I wanted, the Oreos. So you can start to make those connections. So and then there's also a journal that just kind of helps you to get in touch with how you feel, because a lot of us, we say, oh yeah, I do have a headache, but we don't notice it until the doctor asks us about it. So it's just to bring that self-awareness to body, mind, and spirit. So that's the Woman Take Off Your Cape and Fly Journal. I call it the Fly Journal. It's like a 30-day journey to help you become first love you. That's what Fly is an acronym for. First love you. And so it just helps you become more self-aware and just getting in the routine of caring for you. It's so many of us, especially moms, you kind of can feel guilty about taking care of you.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you can't take care of anyone else if you don't take care of yourself. We hear that all the time. You can't pour from an empty cup, but we do it. And so under books, under the Doc Knows, you'll find those two journals and Woman Take Off Your Cape.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on tonight and giving us some wisdom, girl. The Doc Knows. Head over to thedockknows.com and check Dr. Candace out. Thank you so much, sis, for joining. I look forward to connecting with you in the future and just wishing you just so much success. I know you're a busy bee with lots going, lots of different arenas. Miss Chiropractor, you got so much. So thank you so much for joining, and I'll chat with you soon. I appreciate you.
All right. Thank you for having me. I'll be seeing you again, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. All righty. So as I mentioned earlier, this is the doctor's episode. So we have Dr. Candace, who just left us, And now I'm going to bring on our financial strategist, Dr. Jenn Edwards. So Dr. Jenn Edwards is based here in the DFW like myself. Dr. Jenn is another where I posted on a Facebook group about people coming on and shining a light on their businesses. And Dr. Jenn sent in an inquiry, and she's here, and we find out we got so much in common so far, just with getting to know her. And this is one smart cookie. We talked before she did a TED Talk. I was like, okay, you don't see many of us doing TED Talks. I'm like, you go, girl. You go.
There's a story behind that. We can get to that in a bit.
Okay. So go ahead, Dr. Jenn. So go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about you, and we'll kind of go from there.
Sure. Thank you, Robbin, so much for having me. I'm Dr. Jenn Edwards. You can call me Jenn or Jennifer. That's fine. And I'm just really glad to be here today. I help women protect and grow their finances. We work so hard and we earn well, and it's important for us to think about what does that mean for us and our family and our children and our parents. And so my background is health sciences and administration. And over time, I began working more and more with budgets and financial strategies for programs at the national level, state levels, local level. And I eventually just started transitioning into my financial interests when it comes to how I spend my time serving clients. And so this is the Mamapreneur Podcast. I went back to school and got my MBA as a working wife and mom. And so it got real life, but I'm so passionate about financial strategy, helping women, and economic equity. I feel like there are opportunities out there that we deserve access to. So that's why I'm here today. And I look forward to talking and answering your questions. I will actually be a Grow with Google co-host this summer. And I was a confirmed TEDx speaker. And the day before dress rehearsals, it got shut down due to the very start of the pandemic. So I'm grateful and thankful to continue connecting with audiences and serving. The mission doesn't stop. And thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm just glad that you're with me today, with me for all the fun and craziness of it all. I get it. You were talking about when you got your MBA, and how old was your baby when you started?
So I started while I was pregnant, not sure what I was thinking. And then you have to pace yourself, right? I mean, there are only so many hours in a day. Give yourself grace. Keep your stress low. And I think it took me about 3 years to finish the degree, but I finished. I got there. I was working nap times, night times, weekends. But when you have a goal and when you're committed to a mission, it's not hard to do. It's not hard to stay consistent. So
make a way for it to happen. My baby was 6 months old when I started my master's program, my MBA program. So I can relate.
You get it.
And work a corporate job. So, to try to do all of that and get your degree and those late nights and all that. And then when I finished, I was like, okay, all right. You feel like you accomplished something, like after you know the journey of it all. So I can relate.
Exactly.
So talk to me about how long you've kind of been in the business. How long have you been kind of in this arena?
Sure. So I love sharing the background in terms of my family. I'm a 4th generation entrepreneur, and I don't say that because I think I'm special. I say it because I think I've got some great lessons that I'm able to share and equip others with that aren't necessarily in textbooks or that you don't necessarily hear about. And so I've had my own business now for about a decade. My first client was a friend who forced me to request pay. So that's kind of how I got started. And I really have focused on training and coachings, and even in my professional capacity, trainings and coachings now for about 10 years. And then, as I mentioned, over time, evolved more so into financial responsibilities. And now I've got my license to help ladies with work optional planning. Some call it retirement, others still want that choice there. And then also, policies to help us cover and secure our families. So it's been a journey, but I had my first LLC paperwork 10 years ago. It might be a little more than 10 years now. I kind of am losing track.
Just been busy having all that fun, just working so diligently. That's all. You ain't paid attention to all that. You're like, okay, we're just getting out there and doing it. We just need that paperwork to make it legal and official. That's all.
Oh yes, we've got to be legal.
I love it. So, I love talking to people that are in the financial industry. It's interesting when you hear that there's so many different myths about financial planning, and you have to be just so rich and have all this money to get started. And depending on your services, the type of services you have, just to even get you a Roth going, a Roth IRA or something like that going, that could be, a small amount to even get started. Some people think it's so expensive to kind of get the planning piece started. So kind of talk about some myths that are out there about the financial, and you do estate planning stuff too. So you do a little bit of everything. Kind of talk about some of the myths of all of that.
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. So yes, first and foremost, you can start with a small amount of funds. And that is part of what I'm so passionate about in serving clients, is that I sit down and I listen to what your needs are, what your financial goals are. And then we can sit back and say, what would be the most appropriate solutions for you at whatever financial level you might be at. So I work independently with Fortune 500 companies to decide what could work well for you. And then we put the puzzle pieces together with each other so that you might have $5. Okay, let's start with that. You might have $5,000, $10,000. Let's work with that. And so, yes, that is an important myth to dispel, that you can indeed get started with any amount of money. And that's just really important. I think another myth is that we have to penny pinch in order to grow our savings. I focus on safer savings in general. I think things like crypto are fun, but I focus on the safer.
I was just gonna mess with you about Bitcoin and crypto. Carry on. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's just starting with foundational strategies, I think is really important. And your mindset about your money is important. You don't have to penny pinch every single day. Like, don't act like you've seen your last dollar today. No, have faith that you will have the provision that you need. And then you move forward, you save, you plan, but it's okay if you want to go on vacation. Now, maybe you don't go to an extravagant location if you've got some priority financial goals, but it's about balance. So, there's no wrong way in terms of how you go about building your safer savings. It's about preference and being on the same page with anyone that you might be sharing finances with. But don't think you've got to just cut everything out and lock yourself in the house just to get started.
Talking about, I'm on a budget. I can't do anything. Lockdown.
Right.
Okay. Awesome. I wanted to kind of shine a light on that a little bit because when you hear financial planning or saving, folks will immediately go to, oh man, I'm not gonna be able to do anything, go anywhere. I'm just, we're gonna be eating generic food, we're gonna be, things of that nature. So I'm glad, that you kind of, shed light on that a little bit.
Absolutely. I'll share this because I think we all just try to find our balance. Maybe you've tried some things and landed on what works for you. I think we all have to do that. In college, actually, I did an experiment where I went to the grocery store and only shopped generic. And that was the worst breakfast food I've ever had in my life. But I tried it. Not the life for me.
You said, I want my Kraft cheese. Okay, we want Owen's sausage. We don't want whatever that other brand was. Okay. Some stuff, some great values. Okay. We're not going to knock, the great values and all that down. But, some stores you like, this ain't gonna work. Let's get the brand, whatever that brand is. My Kraft cheese. Okay, we can't, that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show on generic food and items. Talk about your financial goals quiz. Kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. So what I like to do is to look at the whole picture when it comes to our finances. And that consists of different priorities that you might have. It might relate to things like reducing debt. It might relate to wanting to get stronger with budgeting, saving for children to go to college, real estate, and then, retirement planning. And so I've pulled together a quiz that your audience can take anytime that really is pre-work before we might speak together for you to sit down and think about, why am I doing this? Because it's not about money for money's sake. We're not talking about being greedy. We're really talking about being comfortable with our provision and being wise, responsible individuals with the finances that we have. So that quiz walks you through that process. And then it also asks you to think a little bit about how committed are you really? Because it's one thing to say you want financial security and stability, and then it's another thing to actually put it into practice each day. So it's not a long quiz, but it will get you thinking so that when we do connect, we can dive right into whatever your priorities might be.
Now, talk about the process. You touched on it a little bit. So do you have each prospective person, customer, if they're going to do a consultation of any kind, do you have them do that first, each person, or if that's just optional for them to go into the quiz? How does that process go for a prospect? Yeah,
good question. So it really depends on how we cross paths. Here you've got the phone number that was just put up that will direct you to doing that quiz when you have some time, or you can just go straight to scheduling a conversation with me, which you can do on my website, either way. And then what will take place is that we start working together to figure out, what would be most important for you to start with based on the goals that you've identified. So it's a very personalized process, a tailored process, where we're really talking through, based on what you said, here's what we have that would help you work toward that. And then I offer some illustrations for you to even sit back and see, if I commit to this in 20 years, here's what my financial situation could look like. So we have those resources to share. And then I actually also walk through calculations with you. So this is kind of my health sciences side that comes out, where I do like the analytics, I do like the numbers, the intersection of that work. And we will sit down and say, what does it mean now in real life? What should you be dedicating every month, every week? And are you on track? because what we find is that so many women, so many families are really not on track for the later years, where it's really supposed to be about, work optional living and retirement. And there just aren't enough funds there. And so many of us think we can rely on Social Security, for example, and it was not intended to be 100% of our income. So now's the time to start. And, let's get started together. I see someone saying that.
Jenn, where are you from? Someone's asking. That's why I'm laughing. I'm like,
I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. So you might hear a little Midwest, and I live in Dallas now.
That's funny. They're like, she's dropping these gems. They're like, scratch that. Where is she from? Okay, so you touched on something else. I was having a talk with someone that's much older. It's good that there's more people out here doing more of the financial planning piece, because back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, we're going to even bring it to the 80s. A lot of people that are older now do not have the information about financial planning and retirement and so on. So by the time it's time for them to retire, they ain't got a dime. And this Social Security crap, I'm going to call it crap at the moment, because by the time Jenn and I are old enough for it, they're going to raise that age to about 85. They're going to be like, you got to be 85, because, it's not much to live on. And a lot of older folks today did not have that education, and wish that someone would have talked to them prior, about estate planning, or prior to that about, what do you call it? What do you call retirement? What do you call it?
I say work optional, because some people think they're going to work forever. So if that's your game plan, I'm happy to support you with that too.
You say more power to you. Talk about the estate planning piece of it. That's another area, especially people of color. No shade to people of color, but I hear it from more people of color that do not have an estate plan set in place. They think that they have to be much older. Like, you might want to do it, not put an age on it. Go ahead.
Right, absolutely. So estate planning is really important. If I sit back and think about an effective financial strategy that can equip families for years to come, it has certain pieces, and you might have to partner with a couple of people, which I'm happy to put you in touch with, where you want legal components, things like legal power of attorney and medical power of attorney. You want a trust for your kids. Speaking of myths, sometimes we think, to be a trust fund baby, so to speak, or to have a trust, you have to have like millions and millions of dollars. And that's not true. You just need a legal structure so that when you do have funds, should something happen, they will then go into that trust. You can start off a trust with $0. And so you would want to partner with a legal professional for things of that nature. And then I actually have a pyramid that shows with, planning your overall strategy. It starts with the foundational approaches, things like your safer savings accounts. You don't just want money in your own bank account, because especially with inflation, that's actually losing value over time. So you need to start placing your funds, once you've got your emergency funds out of the way, into some safer types of allocations, which of course I can talk with you through. And then also life insurance is very important. And a lot of people, totally. And a lot of people don't realize that if you have an appropriate policy, you're able to grow your finances in a life insurance policy. It's still life insurance. You will still have that piece where your family would get funds, for example, if something were to happen to you. At the same time, with a particular type, you're able to also access funds while you're living, which a lot of people don't know about. But that's a basic, easy start. That's an instant estate if you're able to get a solid life insurance policy, which I'm certainly licensed to help with. And I just, I was on GoFundMe yesterday. No exaggeration. I mean, Robbin, if you have your phone with you, you can do it now. And I just put funeral in the search bar, and it was something like 500,000 results came up in GoFundMe. And so, the question is, what do you want to leave behind for your family? How can we start closing this economic gap? And life insurance is one way to do it. And it's one way to position your family. So those are some of the pieces of building your estate. And then also just getting really practical and calculating, what do I need to do monthly? How am I going to get there? And there are some, of course, additional approaches that are less traditional that you don't, you're starting to hear more about, but are still being studied, like crypto and the Bitcoin and NFTs and all of that. I don't know that, I wouldn't call those foundational strategies, but, once you've got the core in place, then you can start thinking about funds you're not worried about losing. If you want to start exploring, then that's the time. And then I think also real estate is an important component if you're talking about a financial strategy. It may not fall under estate planning, but I do believe it is a necessary component. So did you check that GoFundMe? I don't know if you were able to, but
over 408,000 just in the search. Mm-hmm. I didn't even go to a page yet just to see what the first, the amount that's needed. I didn't even go there. That just 408,000 in the search results alone.
Yeah, don't do it to your families. Don't do it.
And it's expensive to bury you, let alone keep you around. Just saying. Oh my God! All right, crazy times. Also, tell everybody your website real quick. Dr. Jenn has swag on her website. I love a good website with good swag. I'm going to showcase some of mine in a minute, but we're talking about Dr. Jenn's. Dr. Jenn got hoodies, shirts, tumblers, you name it. She got it on her website. Tell everybody your website.
Sure. It's jenniferjedwards.com. I'm truly a mamapreneur. I need my carpool gear so that I could go and play taxi for my kiddos and still be looking cute. So
I love it. I said, I'm going to have to get something. Just because what I saw, I was like, this is cute. It's cute. The hoodie. I was like, okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Can't wait to see yours too.
Yeah. So I'm going to showcase mine in a second. But before going any further, okay, so you text GROW to 844-998-1870 for the free budget and vacation planner and strategy, Robbin, can't talk, session by texting GROW to that phone number. So reach out to Dr. Jenn. She had some good gems and nuggets tonight. Go ahead and say the website one more time.
And I will, yes, it's jenniferjedwards.com, and I'll put it in the chat also.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Jenn. You're just amazeballs. Thank you so much. And I look forward to hearing about are they the Grow with Google? When is that?
It's scheduled for June. So I'll keep you posted.
Okay. Awesome. Well, guys, we're coming to the end of the show. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us tonight. Before we close out, your girl has merch as well. We've opened the Mamapreneur Podcast.com is officially open, ready to go. Head down to the Mamapreneur Podcast.com. But we got shirts. And I got some other things coming, but we're taking pre-orders today for shirts. So you can't see it at the moment. So I have one that says she, and it says, I am she is me, builds, owns, and invests. So that's one of the shirts. You can't see it right now. My what is this? My virtual background will not let me be great. If you guys can see a little bit of that. It's like a light pink color. So I have that. I have one with the podcast logo on it, if you guys can see that. All righty. And then I have this fabulous nugget here. I don't know if you guys can see it. It doesn't want me to be great. But anyway, it says passionate woman of color, entrepreneur. And the shirts from extra small to large are $25. And extra large and above, they're $35. Plus tax, shipping, what have you. So if you're interested in getting you some swag from me, reach out to me directly, DM, call me, text, since we're doing a big pre-order. So we don't want yours to get lost in translation. So, but make sure you support the Power Team in all its platforms. My show is second and fourth Thursday. Kesha Kesh and Dr. Real are on first and third Wednesdays. And Bree, she is on Monday nights from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And just make sure you're following us and always stay tuned to things upcoming that we have with the platform. Thank you guys for joining us tonight for the Mamapreneur Podcast. And you all have a blessed rest of the week. Take care. Thank you guys.